Hey everybody, welcome back to 360 Comics. Joe here, and if you follow us on Instagram, you've been seeing the teasers over the last week. I bought a really awesome 80s collection of DC and Marvel comics, and I'm going to show you all that today and give you the details. If you like this kind of content, make sure you hit that subscribe button for future videos, and don't forget, give this video a thumbs up for a like and leave a comment down below for your chance to win a copy of Alpha Flight #1 for our 1,200 subscriber giveaway. You can also go back to all of our videos that have come out since Christmas, do the same there for additional entries, and all of our videos until we hit 1,200 subscribers. Don't forget, follow on Instagram as well, where we'll be announcing our 6,000 follower giveaway there very soon. I really just need to pick a prize, and then I'm going to announce it. The story of this acquisition goes all the way back to the beginning of December. I was at a local antique shop looking through the same comics that I've looked through a million times just to check if there was anything new, which there wasn't. But there was a customer in the store looking at some antique signs, and he asked me if I was into comics. And I told him, yeah, I've got a YouTube channel, all this stuff. And he asked me if I bought collections. He said he had one. He said he had his childhood collection from the early to mid 80s. He said it was bagged and boarded. It had been in boxes for 30 plus years, untouched. And I was very interested. So we exchanged numbers. I tried to get something going in December. He was really busy. Then he got COVID. I also had COVID as well in part of December. And I told him, hey, reach out to me when you're ready, when you're available. Finally, after the new year, first week of January, he sends me a video of him kind of flipping through. I didn't get to see every book, but I saw a handful of the books, including some pretty decent keys, and I'll mention them when I get to them in the video. And, you know, basically I said, yeah, I'm interested. Why don't I come over, check out condition, and make you an offer? I went over, we negotiated a little bit, and I walked away with his entire comic book collection. It was a short box and a long box, but once I got it home and got everything rebagged and boarded, it ended up being a long box and two short boxes, just because a lot of the stuff did not have boards on it. Actually, most of it didn't. 90% of the books were just bagged. Thankfully, they were bagged, but no boards. Fortunately, they were packed tightly enough that they weren't too bent or anything like that. But yeah, I'll get to condition later. We'll talk about condition and price at the end, so stick around for that, but let's dive into what he had. This right here was one of the books I could see from the video he sent me, and I did tease this one on Instagram a couple days ago while I was sorting the collection. We got Wolverine 1, written by Frank Miller. Art by Frank Miller, written by Chris Claremont. Really awesome team there. Two of my favorite comic creators ever, and just an iconic character, an iconic classic cover. You guys know what this is. Wolverine's first solo run. It was a limited series of 4 books, and guess what? Not only did he have 1, he had 2. He had 3, my favorite cover, and he had 4. The whole complete miniseries, definitely read, but this guy took care of his books, fortunately. He was not only buying the stuff that he was reading, he was also kind of speculating back then. He seemed to be buying key issues. So you'll see that in here. There are some random keys that weren't in runs, but there was a lot of stuff in runs as well. The first section of this video, it's all going to be miniseries and decent sized runs. Then we'll get into individual keys. Next, we got Punisher. He had only number 1 and 3 from this, which I was surprised to see. He did not have the full one, but this is a good one to have. Mike Zeck art, really popular first Punisher solo series, mini series, and just awesome artwork all around. I feel like this next miniseries is in every collection I buy from this era. We got Wolverine and Kitty Pryde, books 1 and 2. Books 3 and 4, and books 5 and 6. Nothing super special here, but definitely a nice little mini series featuring 2 of the X-Men. I think it's a good storyline as well. It does introduce some characters, and there are some keys in here, but just a nice, affordable one. And I've got a couple copies of this at this point, so I'll probably put up one of these in my claim sale soon to sell as a collection. Same thing with the Hawkeye miniseries, another one that I get a lot in almost all collections from the 80s I see. And this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then usually what goes along with that is West Coast Avengers 1, 2, 3, and 4, because it features Hawkeye as well. So we got all 4 of those. And he also had the ongoing series, West Coast Adventures number 1. So he's got a bunch of, miniseries here, as well as the first book of the ongoing series. Unfortunately, he didn't have the first Wolverine ongoing series. That was a little bit later. It looks like he stopped collecting in 86. He said he started buying in 82, and it looks like he stopped in 86, but he did grab some back issues going back into the 70s, and we'll get to that soon. Next miniseries, we got Elektra Saga again, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Good stuff. Definitely this character has some potential, given that we have Daredevil now in the MCU again, or for the first time, whatever you want to call it. Great stuff by Frank Miller. And then this last bunch, it's the 80s run that you always want to find. A little maxi series here, Secret Wars, and we've got the entire set, numbers 1, 2, and there's a bunch of keys in here, including this one. First, Titania. She's going to be in the Hulk show. Number 3. We got number 4. We got 5. 6. 7. This was on the hot list recently because it's the first appearance of Julia Carpenter, the second Spider-Woman. And then, of course, this one. Secret Wars 8, the origin story of the black suit. One of the most recognizable covers in comic history, probably of the Bronze Age. One of certain, actually, maybe possibly the most, not Bronze Age, Copper Age. One of the most recognizable covers of the Copper Age. And I'm going to scoot these down a second so we can make some room for the rest of this. We had 9, 10, which I love the cover, 11, and 12, the entire miniseries. I'm going to put 8 back up here because that's the one we want to look at. Really great stuff. So definitely some cool things that I'll keep together in bundles. Some of these might end up getting graded. I got to do a finer look at some of the higher end books. But next we're going to move on to some runs that he was collecting, some stuff that he was reading, and you'll see it's pretty good. One of the characters that this guy really loved was Vigilante, who first appeared in the pages of Teen Titans Annual number 2. And he really loved this character, so he was collecting his solo series. Obviously, issue number 1 is the one that really holds the most value, but he had 1 all the way through 31, and he had Annual number 1. There's a couple minor keys in here, but honestly, I'm just stoked that it is a full and complete run from 1 to 31, and I'm probably just going to read this, and then, depending on how I like it, this might stay in the personal collection, or I might end up selling it as a Vigilante bundle. Next up, he had a whole long run of Alpha Flight ranging from issue 1 to 35. Unfortunately, that does stop before the Jim Lee key issues, but issue number 1, a pretty solid key, and it's also my giveaway book by chance. And there are a bunch of minor keys as well. Just like the Vigilante books, I want to read these, and I'm not sure what I'll do with them yet. I'll probably keep these given they have some X-Men connection, and I'm really into X-Men. But, if I'm not feeling it, I might end up selling these as a bundle as well. Next up, we got a pile of random keys, which makes me think this guy was doing some sort of speculating on new characters, even back as a kid in the 1980s. First up, we got New Teen Titans number 2, the first appearance of Deathstroke, a George Perez cover, a really popular character, and in fact, the most expensive book in this Teen Titans run. Was really happy to find this. I actually just picked up a copy recently that's graded, but this one is probably higher grade than that one, so maybe I will end up replacing it in my personal collection. We'll have to see. Next up, a character from Teen Titans as well that I mentioned before. This is the first appearance of Vigilante in Teen Titans Annual number 2. Great cover. This character's definitely going to be getting some popularity. I've heard positive things about the show. I've only watched the first episode so far, but I thought it was a great intro to the series that's coming out. Next up, this was perfect. This is Teen Titans number 1 from the second volume of New Teen Titans from the mid-'80s. And if you remember a couple videos ago, I bought a run from number 2 to 67, I think. Well, guess what? I've got the number 1 now, so I've got that run all finished up. There was a little Omega Men run. This one is the first issue, and there are some keys in this issue, this run as well. First issue of the run is okay, but this is the big one, issue number 3. First appearance of Lobo. Awesome book, and to go along with it, second appearance of Lobo, and it's the first time his name is revealed. I guess he's a nameless character in the beginning. I'm always looking for these books whenever I see Omega Men stuff, but most of the time, 3 and 5 are picked out already, especially 3. This is actually my first time really finding this in anywhere, at least number 3. Next up, we got Infinity Inc. number 1, the first book of the run. DC Sampler number 3. Now, this is an interesting one. I did not know this. This has a preview of John Constantine before Swamp Thing 37 came out. This was his first in-comic appearance, but it is as a preview, not a true first appearance. Nonetheless, people are going after previews. You see it happening with the Miles Morales preview. We've seen it recently on the hot list with the Spider-Man 2099 preview. So this one might be a good one to have. Next, we got Marvel Age 7. This is another preview, this time of Spider-Ham. Again, with the previews, definitely things to pick up. Lower value, lower entry point, but definitely have some potential. Going along with that Marvel Age 7, we got number 12. This one is even better. First preview of the black suit, the black Spider-Man suit. Now, the drawing, I'm not sure if the actual drawing in here is from the fan that submitted it. A kid named Randy Schuler created the black Spider-Man costume and said, hey, you guys should try this out. Jim Shooter actually contacted the kid and said, I like your idea, paid him $220 for it. Now, if you think about it, how much money has Marvel made off of the black suit, Venom, symbiotes in general, all that stuff? That was an insane buy on their part. $220 for one of the most iconic suits / characters of all time, and poor Randy could have gotten a little bit more, I think. But anyway, first preview of the black suit is in this book. And then I'm not sure why this is kind of considered a key. I guess it's considered a classic cover. Probably gained a lot of popularity when WandaVision came out, because I believe this issue kind of previews the Vision and Scarlet Witch solo title. And for that reason, I think people gravitated to this book a little bit. And it does have a really awesome cover featuring a bunch of the Avengers as well. This next one is, again, related to something from the MCU. We got Marvel Fanfare 11. This is the first appearance of Iron Maiden, whose name is, oh man, I'm going to mess it up. It's a Russian name. Melina Krostakov, something like that. You know her from the Black Widow movie, which didn't go over too well. I thought it was kind of too little too late because it was delayed so many times, and the character, Black Widow had already died for 2 years and all that stuff. But hey, it's all good. The movie's okay, in my opinion. I thought parts of it were really great. I thought Red Guardian was awesome. So was Iron Maiden. This is her first appearance. And then the second one right here, Marvel Fanfare 12. This one is her first cover appearance and second appearance. So this will probably stay together as a set, whether I decide to keep or sell these. Next, we got a classic What If book, number 31. What if Wolverine had killed Hulk everyone collects stuff that has to do with Hulk 181. So this is kind of a retelling of Hulk 181 if Wolverine had killed Hulk. There's also another one with a foil cover from the 90s, I think, that is what if Hulk killed Wolverine, kind of taking the other side of it. Like I said, anything that has to do with Hulk 181, reprints, retellings, what ifs, they're all collectible. So those are keys that people pick up because the average person can't afford a Hulk 181. Next up, another what if, number 35. What if Elektra had lived? This is one I've been looking for a while. I've never been able to find it out in the wild for a reasonable price, but I finally did. This one's staying in the personal collection. Next, we got a pretty spicy book here. You'll love to see it, and we already saw the Secret Wars 8, so you might have expected this to be in here. Marvel Team Up 141, the second appearance of the black suit. Some people will argue it's tied for first appearance, tied for second appearance. I'm pretty sure that it's tied for second appearance. According to the research done by James over at Mint Hunter Comics, this came out after Amazing Spider-Man 252, but it came out the same day as Spectacular Spider-Man 90. So this would be tied for second appearance. I'm going to go with that. You can make your decision on your own. Either way, it's a great key book to have. The next two, I was pleasantly surprised to see these. We've got Crisis on Infinite Earths, number 7. I've never owned these books, but I know they're really popular DC books. George Perez art, classic storyline, kind of this storyline. I compare it to Marvel's or DC's version of Secret Wars. Death of Supergirl in this issue, and Death of the Flash in issue number 8. These were the only two from the run that he had, making me think even more that he was picking up key issues. Same thing goes for this next book here. We got Moon Knight number 1. No other Moon Knight books in the collection, unfortunately, but this is the one you really want. The first book of Moon Knight's solo run, and a really hot book right now due to the character coming to Disney Plus, apparently as early as February. I am so excited for that show. The teaser trailer looks great. Oscar Isaac is a great actor, and yeah, just super stoked on it. The guy also had, from a different run, what is this? Fist of Khonshu, Moon Knight number 1. I believe this was the third series, or this is, I forget what was first, Fist of Khonshu or Mark Spector. I think this was actually first, and then the Mark Spector run was a little bit later. Next, we got Power Pack number 1. I've been saying, I talked with Jim from Bronzeville. He kind of planted the idea in my head that maybe they could do a Power Pack animated series for kids. Would be a cool Disney Plus show, a G-rated, PG-rated kind of family fun show. Either way, if we see it or not, still a great issue number 1 to have. We got Avengers 263. Now, this is a pretty cool one. This features the return of Jean Grey after she dies. She comes back here, and this eventually spawns off into the formation of X Factor, the reunion of the original X-Men team. And I think this might be the first mention of the name X Factor as well, but I'm not sure about that. I know that is like a listed key. Next, we got Iron Man number 70. This is the first appearance of James Rhodey, who is War Machine, in the Iron Man armor before he takes on the mantle of War Machine much later, much later, like a decade later. But really great, awesome cover here featuring Jim putting the helmet on, and pretty iconic Iron Man book. Then we got Dazzler number 1. You know what it is. First solo Dazzler book. It's got a really awesome cover. Not a super expensive book, but you got to look out for the error printing of this book, where 2 of the pages don't have color on them. They're 2 ad pages near the end. Unfortunately, this is not the error version of the book. I probably should have put this next one next to the Avengers book a couple ago, but whatever. X Factor number 1, the first book of the X Factor run. awesome stuff. I love this title. I think it's very underrated, and it introduces some pretty big characters, including Apocalypse, who I have high hopes for that they will eventually redeem him in the MCU from that terrible X-Men Apocalypse movie we got a number of years ago. Next, we got Uncanny X-Men and the New Teen Titans crossover. Gotta love it, taking the two of the most popular teams from Marvel and DC, putting them together in a book, and this is actually a pretty good read. I do recommend it. Here's a big one. This was the only ASM book in the entire collection. This guy was not a Spidey fan, but it's one that you definitely want. It's one that I saw in the video he gave me. It's Amazing Spider-Man 252. You probably guessed that, given you saw Secret Wars 8 and you saw Marvel Team Up 141. Amazing Spider-Man 252 is the first appearance of Spider-Man in the black suit. It's an homage cover to Amazing Fantasy 15, Jack Kirby's cover, Spider-Man's first appearance. It is one of the books from the 80s you really want to find. Now, when I saw this in the video, I got my hopes up a little bit. I thought, oh, maybe he's got Hobgoblin, maybe he's got Venom, which are kind of on either side of this book, but neither of them were in there. This is still a great pickup, and I'm stoked about it. We did have a couple other Spider-Man books, not from the Amazing Spider-Man run, but Web of Spider-Man #1. He had 2 copies. Clearly doing a little bit of speculating here on, this book. This was a new Spider-Man title, the first one that came out while he was collecting. So he thought, let's pick up 2 copies, I guess. Next, we've got The Incredible Hulk 272. And this is the first time Bruce Banner intentionally transforms into the Hulk. And they call it the intelligent Hulk persona. It's also the 3rd appearance of Rocket Raccoon. I don't think that really matters too much, but there are people that love Rocket and the Guardians. This last one made me so happy to find. Never owned this book before. Definitely going to get this copy graded because it looks nice and it's a newsstand. We got G.I. Joe #1. Now, 9.8s are selling at over $1,000 on this book. This one's probably not a 9.8, but it is definitely high grade, definitely 9.0 plus. So I'm going to press it, clean it, send it in, and we'll hope for a good grade on this one. Let's get to the real nice stuff, the best stuff in this collection coming at you now. Fortunately for me, this guy was a collector of 2 runs that I am also a collector of, Daredevil and X-Men. That's why I saved this stuff for last. Not only that, but he started collecting, like I said, in the early 80s. Well, guess what? He went back and bought some back issues that extended his run for both of those back into the 70s. So starting right here with Daredevil 141, this is the 3rd appearance of Bullseye. Not a super big key, but definitely one that people look for. Next, this was awesome. We had Daredevil 158, the first time Frank Miller did art on Daredevil. This is definitely a major Daredevil key, a major Frank Miller key. And guess what? He didn't just have this. He had the entire Frank Miller run, starting at 158, going to 168 when Frank Miller started writing as well as doing the art, and extending all the way to 191 where Frank Miller left the book. Not only that, he had all the way up till 223, so beyond the Frank Miller run. I'm going to show you just a bunch of the keys from that, not all of the books, obviously. That would take way too long, but we got first Frank Miller art. We got second Frank Miller art featuring a out-of-costume Bullseye on the front. We've got number 160. This is just a classic Frank Miller cover, his 3rd art. This one is featuring the Bullseye and Black Widow. This next one is huge, the biggest book of the run, 168, the first time he was writing on it, and the first appearance of Elektra. You can't have Daredevil without Elektra. They go hand in hand. We got 169 as well, the second appearance of Elektra. We've got 170. This is the first appearance of Kingpin in the Daredevil run. Obviously, Kingpin is now confirmed in the MCU. So is Daredevil. I hope they have a meeting sometime in the near future. That would be awesome. We also got 171. This is the first meetup or battle between Daredevil and Kingpin. They don't meet in the prior issue, but Kingpin does appear. Then we got 174, the first appearance of the Hand. This is definitely very important. The Hand is basically a criminal organization that's been around for a very long time and just continues to renew members over the decades and centuries even. Next, we got 176, first appearance of Stick. I love this character. He basically was a role model, a trainer, a sensei, whatever you want to call it, for both Daredevil and Elektra. And he's got a lot of issues too. Next up, another pretty decent one. We got 181, The Death of Elektra. Awesome cover. And this book, I think, is very affordable for what it is. You can get a 9.8 for like $300, maybe $350. But raw copies sell like $20, $30, $40. I think it's pretty affordable. Next, we got, and last actually, for the Daredevil books, we got number 183, the first meetup between Punisher and Daredevil. People are saying, hope they bring John Bernthal back as Punisher, because we got Charlie Cox back. We got Vincent D'Onofrio back. This would be awesome for the MCU. Let's move on to those X-Men books now. I mentioned before that this guy likes Alpha Flight, and that is for sure. This right here is X-Men 109 from the early part of the Claremont run. We've got the first appearance of Weapon Alpha, aka Vindicator, a member of Alpha Flight, kind of the leader, a rival of Wolverine as well. Then skips a couple issues to 120, the first cameo appearance of Alpha Flight, of the whole team, and then 121, their first full appearance. These are all pretty nice copies, and I think I'm probably going to get them all graded. I think they're nicer than the ones that I have in my personal collection as well. Next, we got 125, which goes along with 126. First cameo appearance of Proteus, and first full appearance of Proteus, who is the son of Moira McTaggart. Definitely something that they could explore in the MCU. Next up, here's a big one, 129. And from here on out, there was actually a full run, ranging from 127. I think it started at 127, the full run, and went all the way to 209. So a huge run there of X-Men. Just like the Daredevil stuff, I'm only going through the major keys here. 129, first Kitty Pryde, first Emma Frost. Two big characters in X-Men lore. Great book to have. This one's got some spine ticks, but nonetheless, still a major key. We got 130 next, the second appearance of Kitty Pryde, as well as the first appearance of Dazzler. Awesome book. And 131, second Dazzler, third Kitty Pryde, and the first cover appearance of Emma Frost, the White Queen. Love this cover. Always have loved this cover. Never have owned this book. At least I don't think I ever have. Now I do. This is one of the ones that I need to fill in my Claremont run. And a couple of these books are staying in the personal collection for sure. Next up is 132. This is the first appearance of the Hellfire Gang. The Hellfire Club. Why did I say gang? What is going on? Next is 133. This is the first solo Wolverine cover. It's also the issue where you confirm that Wolverine has some extra healing powers, that he heals incredibly quickly, which is honestly one of his major powers that is relevant throughout storylines beyond this one. Next, we got 134. We've got Jean Grey becoming the Dark Phoenix. And not only that, we got 135 along with it, of course. This one holds more value due to this absolutely epic cover featuring Jean Grey as the Dark Phoenix on the front. Really cool perspective view, and she's crushing the X-Men logo at the top. Love it. Of course, no X-Men collection from the 80s is complete without, in my opinion, the best story arc in X-Men history, Days of Future Past, book number 141, and of course 142. Bunch of First appearances including Rachel Summers and Pyro, Avalanche. Great stuff. Amazing storyline. And they even made it into a movie that was pretty good. As far as the X-Men prequel movies go, that was definitely one of the better ones. Of course, we've got the Rogue books here. This is the second appearance of Rogue. After first appearing in X-Men Annual number 10. And it's also the first time, obviously, that she appears in the Uncanny X-Men title. Then we got 160 here. This is the first appearance of Magic, Ilyana Rasputin, as a teenager. Great book. Awesome cover with this giant hand coming in. We've got 168, the first appearance of Madeline Pryor. Definitely something that they could go on in the MCU and develop a character, but that one's going to take a while because they need to tell the story of Jean Grey and all that stuff before they get to this. And the last one I'm sharing from this X-Men haul is 171. Rogue joins the X-Men. I'm leaving a lot out. There's a lot of keys, classic covers, Origin of Magneto, first appearance of Forge. I couldn't show all of them. This video would be way too long, but that's it for this collection. Like I said, it was a long box and a short box. I bagged and boarded it, so it became 2 short boxes and a long box. You know, over 300, probably less than 400 books, but great ones. This guy was a focused collector on specific things, specific runs that he liked, which are all great and complete, which is awesome, and key issues. And not only that, but he did take the time to bag the books. Even though they weren't all boarded, that's still a lot better than leaving them unbagged. So I got a really great deal on this collection. Basically, I think that I can keep some stuff for my personal collection and sell off the rest for a profit, possibly even doubling my money while keeping some stuff. That is definitely a goal to have. Kind of the low end, depending on condition, could be worth about $2,000, $2,500, but it could be worth over $3,000 if the condition is better than I thought. I need to clean and press a lot of books and see if they're worth sending off to CGC before I give a final analysis on this, but definitely a great buy. If you can buy a collection and profit from it while still keeping stuff for your personal collection, that is just 2 thumbs up. Great buy, in my opinion. I hope you guys liked the video. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up for a like, leave a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button if you have not done so yet. And until next time, turn the page, wash your hands.